I'm pretty anxious. I can't really show my excitement on the outside, but on the inside, I'm jumping up and down like a little kid.
How much progress have you seen this defense make from that first scrimmage? I guess about a month ago we talked to you after that.
Yes, sir.
The last 3 or 4 weeks. How much progress have you seen in general and up front on the D line as well?
Since that first scrimmage, I've seen a lot of progress between the whole defense. Just with us coming closer together and actually playing with each other and for each other and knowing that we have each other's back and just building that trust. And from a defensive line standpoint, I feel like the guys around me are doing a great job, and we're the same thing really with the whole defense. We all coming together and playing better with each other.
Broderick, in your defensive line group, who do you feel like had the best chemistry? What one or two guys really progressed the most, do you think?
One of the guys that I feel like progressed the most is the same guy that I've been saying, Lonzel Gilmore. He gonna be a name to remember. Um, and really just everybody else, really like all the guys around me, really just doing a great job at what they're doing.
What do you expect to see from Eastern Washington's offense?
Basically, some of the same things that we see in practice. They might use the jet sweep more than we do and outside runs more than we do, but pretty much the same tempo, quick passes. Um, yeah, pretty much a lot of the same things we see from our offense.
Broderick, how much more prepared do you feel yourself and just your game now than you were when you were this time last year?
The difference between now and this time last year is that I feel like that I know the game more, and it's slowed down a lot more to me because that transition from offensive line to defensive line, it was a tough one. But now that I got a year under my belt, well, a couple of years under my belt with it, I feel like that it's just gonna come to me like that.
Do you have any idea how many snaps you might play or how much rotation you'll use on the inside?
I can't say an exact number, but I know a lot because we got guys that our coach can just put anywhere on the field and be able to play that position. And so it's really a whole lot of mismatches that you might see this Saturday.
Being a Longview native, how's your family doing and all that during the hurricane?
They doing pretty good right now. My mom, I've been in contact with my mom like every day since me finding out about Hurricane Harvey, and I just been checking on her every day, making sure they're good and texting them. And she told me she'll be getting some rain and stuff from Hurricane Harvey around Wednesday, so I just been keeping up with her, making sure they're all right.
Broderick, you mentioned a moment ago Lonzel and his progress. What has he done over this last year or so that you've seen that growth in him? Or what does he look like to you now?
Really, it's all about maturity with him. It like when we first got in, like he was pretty down on himself about being redshirted, but it's just his attitude towards things and the way he sees things now. It's just he's matured a whole lot since our first year here together.
Cliff mentioned a moment ago that Quentin Young's made some plays in the last scrimmage or two that kind of helped him earn a spot. What did you see from him?
I seen a guy that has a lot of speed behind him, and he has a nose for getting to the football and stays around the football. Like if he's running plays down the field or anything like that, he is always around the football.
So guys like him and Tony Jones have kind of helped y'all's athletic ability and speed up front.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, I know you talked about the offense in general, but can you talk about the quarterback, maybe the difficulties he presents? Because I know he runs a little bit more than maybe a Nick would.
He presents Almost the same amount of problems that we had with Pat in practice because Pat could move around a lot in the pocket and make plays happen, and this quarterback's the same way. He might be a little faster than Pat actually, and he likes to run the ball. So we just got to make sure we're doing our jobs and being in our gaps and make sure we got contained on him. If not, he could be a problem.
Anything else?
Just anybody that's watched Eastern Washington knows how many national championships they've won at the FCS level. They beat Washington State last year to start the year, and Washington State ended up being pretty good last year. What's the biggest challenge with you and your teammates? I mean, I know it's the first game. I know everybody's going to be hyped up, but almost just not sleeping on a team who's really good, and they might not be at the same level as you guys as far as divisions, but dominated at the FCS level for a long time.
Really, we can't overlook anybody this year. Like, we're going to treat every opponent the same way. Like, it's a big game, and Eastern Washington won't be any different. Their offense works well together. They can present a lot of problems that we could see later on in the year, and if we don't come prepared, then they could beat us, and we're really just going to have the mindset of treating everybody the same.
You guys talk about that game for Eastern Washington against Washington State last year. Is that something that is brought up in conversations in y'all's own meeting rooms?
Yes, sir. We actually talk about their last 3 games because their first, well, hold on, let me get it right. Over the last couple of years, they've played good opponents like that's outside of their conference, that's in bigger conferences, and they actually gave them a good game, and they barely lost those games. So we know that they're going to come out fired up, ready to play, so we can't overlook them at all because they're a pretty good team.
How much does that just fall on you and Nick, guys that are leaders in the locker room, to be able to make sure their team's up and not sleeping on somebody like that?
Really just making sure everybody on the same page and not overlooking like any little thing about them. We haven't even, like normally you would hear guys talking about like, oh, it's going to be a breeze, stuff like that, but really everybody just locked in and focused, making sure that they're doing their job to the best of their abilities.
I've been playing it for a while now, through spring, through fall camp, so I feel comfortable. I think the guys around me feel comfortable too with me making those calls, so I'm ready for it.
Who in y'all's room do you feel like had the best camp?
I'd say Jacob Hines had a really good camp. Coming from JUCO, I know what he's going through. I think he did really well. Travis Bruffy is also another guy who really improved.
Well, what do you think about this Eastern Washington front? I know there's some veterans you're going to face, specifically on the interior with number 9
Yeah.
and those guys.
Yeah. I've watched a lot on film on them. I know they run different fronts, stuff like that. One thing that jumped out at me a lot is how hard they play, so I'll have to match that intensity. So I've watched a lot of film on them, though.
The offensive line has got a lot of criticism from fans, from media, from the outside world. What do you say to those guys about how hard you guys are working and how much improvement you guys expect to make this year?
Yeah, there's some things we weren't proud of last season, some things we had to improve. There's nothing I really want to say to them. I mean, it's something as an offensive lineman you kind of got to live with. We put in a lot of work this off season, so I'm really excited to see how things play out, but I think we're ready.
You mentioned a moment ago, Jacob coming from a junior college, and you kind of knowing what he's going through. Any way in particular you can help him?
With him, technique-wise and how physical he is, it's hard to match that. He's a really good player. Ways I could help him is just learning the offense, some things he might have questions on. I think that's where I can really help him out at.
You guys have been focusing on the run. At least Cliff has been talking about that all preseason. How important is it to get off to a good start against a defense that struggled to stop the run here ago?
Yeah, the run game has been a main focus for us. We know how last season played out. We're not really happy with that. We've made huge improvements I've seen since last year, so it's really just going out there and showing what I know this offensive line is capable of. That's really about it.
What are some of those improvements that
I think the biggest thing and the biggest strides we've made as an offensive line is how close we are, and just that camaraderie and how much we gel together. I think that's a huge thing, and just the way we communicate and target things. I think we're all on the same page now. We know the scheme. We know what Coach Jones has in place for us. So I think that we understand all that is what's really going to set us apart from last year.
With Jack Anderson, what have you kind of seen him do, knowing the fact that he's a freshman and he was able to kind of earn the start?
He's a great player, especially coming out of high school. It's something you don't really see much. He's come a long way since being here in the spring. I think he's starting to really embrace the scheme here and how to play at this level. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I know what he can do, but I think he'll be fine.
Is there a difference in physicality along the offensive line, particularly in the running game, having guys who, like Jack, for example, who came from a running offense out of high school, more mauler?
It's just the mentality you got to bring with playing offensive line. I think Coach Jones has really drilled that into us on how you need to play, especially in the run game, and I think that's something we've changed over this offseason.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you with one center?
I think the biggest thing is just embracing that leadership role. You have some guys relying on you and making certain adjustments, certain points. So I think that's the biggest thing. But I think just playing throughout this fall camp, playing that position, I think I've gotten comfortable with it, and things have been going well.
What was your thought 3 or 4 years ago? Someone told you you were going to be the starting center for the Texas Tech Red Raiders?
That would never have crossed my mind. Especially coming from Illinois, I never thought I'd end up in Texas.
I can't remember. Did you root for any particular Big Ten school when you were growing up?
I wouldn't say I rooted for a school. I know Northern Illinois is a school that's big in my family, so I've always kind of kept up with them. I thought I was going to somehow end up there out of high school, so I've watched a lot of Northern Illinois.
So you pictured yourself in red and black?
Yeah, it's just not the same school.
Your parents get come down from all this?
They try to make as most games they can. Usually away games they can make a lot of. Should go to Iowa State, West Virginia. They can make those, but they try as many games they can get down here. They'll be here.
For you, what would you consider a successful game for the offensive line?
There's no really stats or anything. At least me personally, I don't look at that. I just want us to play the way I know we can play and how we have played over this camp, and it's just selling out for the man next to you.
Anything else? How much have you guys talked about not sleeping on a team like Eastern Washington? I mean, Broderick had kind of mentioned that you guys, that they obviously beat Washington State to start the year last year. They dominated the FCS level for a lot of years. How much is that a conversation between players and coaches?
Yeah, I think at this level, you can never overlook a team, especially a team like Eastern Washington. Just watching film, like I said, they play really hard. So you know how bad they're going to want this win. So you can't overlook them, and I think we've prepared for them.